Hey guys, welcome to part 5 of the Codeigniter blog application series. In the last video we went ahead and made it so that we could add categories from our application, and we also added the categories link here so that we can view the categories by name and we can view the posts in each category. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add comment functionality to our blog posts. Okay, we want a comment form down here. We also want to list the comments for each post. Now, there was a small mistake that I had on the GitHub page here in the SQL. I wasn't putting the primary key for the post table or auto increment on ID. So if you cloned this repository and you used this SQL dump right here, you're going to need to add the primary key for ID and the auto increment to your database. Okay, so this is the database here, and if I click on post, you'll see there's an ID of 0, and this isn't the primary key. So what I'm going to have to do is delete the current posts. So if I go to SQL and I'm going to say delete from post where ID is equal to 0, and we'll run that. So now we shouldn't have any posts in the table, and I'm going to go to structure and let's click change for the ID, and we're going to add auto increment right here, and then we're also going to make this the primary key. So let's click save here. Oh, you know what? We have to do the key first. So let's just click, let's see, primary, and OK. And then we want to add auto increment. So we'll go to change, and let's go to AI and save. OK, so now it's the primary key and it's auto increment. And if you didn't clone that repository and use that SQL dump, then you should be fine. You won't even have to do that. Alright, so now that that's done, let's go back to our front end here, and I'm just going to, we have no posts now, so I'm going to just create a couple. Let's say blog post 1, and I'm just going to grab some dummy text. Just generate a couple paragraphs here. Alright, so let's save that. And we'll say technology, and let's choose an image. I'm just going to grab this Ubuntu file, and there we go. Alright, we'll create one more. Let's say blog post 2. We'll just change this up a little bit. Okay, and we'll choose business. And let's grab an image. I'm going to grab this Codeigniter image, and there we go. So now we have 2 blog posts. Now we're going to create a new controller and a new model. So this is the file structure here. Let's go to application and controllers, and I'm going to create a new file here, and we're going to save it as comments.php. Alright, and then in the models folder, we're going to create a file and save that as comment_model.php. Okay, and we'll have that open as well. Now when you create a model, you need to add it to the autoloader. So we're going to go to config and then autoload.php, go down to the bottom here, and we're going to just add comment model. Okay, save that, close that up. So let's now add the form to the blog post. So the view is going to be in views and then posts and view.php. Okay, this is the single blog post view. And what I'm going to do is just add an HR down here at the bottom, and then we'll put an H3 and we'll say add comment. Okay, and we're also going to have to add a comments table to the database. So let's do PHP echo form open. Okay, form open. And in here we want to put where we want to submit to. So that's going to be to the comments controller, and then to a function called create. And then we also want to put the post ID in here so it knows which post to use. So we can get that with post and ID. Alright, so that's the opening form tag. And then in here, let's create some fields. This will be class of form group. Okay, and this is going to be the user's name. So let's give it a label of name, and let's give it an input type of text, and then name of name, and a class of form control. Alright, and then we'll just copy this, and then we're going to have the email, and then let's paste in one more, and this is going to be the body of the comment, and this is also going to be a text area. Alright. Okay, let's do the input button. Submit, and let's see. Let's just have it say submit. And let's also give it a bootstrap class of btn primary. Now we're also going to want to send along the slug, because we're going to have some validation, and if it doesn't validate, we need to reload the view, but we need to also reload the post, which has a slug in the URL. So we need to pass that along. So we're going to do that in a hidden input. So this will be type hidden, and the name will be slug, and then the value, we're going to do PHP echo post slug, and that'll pass that along. Alright, so let's save this and let's reload. Okay, let's see, comment model exists but doesn't declare. That's because we haven't created the file yet. Alright, or we haven't added the code to the file, the class. So let's do that so we don't get that error anymore. We're going to say PHP and create a class of comment underscore model, and that's going to extends CI underscore model. Alright, and let's do constructor. So public function construct, and let's just make sure the database library is loaded. Alright, so now that error should go away, and now we have our comment form. Alright, so let's go ahead and create the comments table. So make sure you're in the correct table, and we're going to add down here comments, and let's say 5 columns. Click go, and then we're going to put in an ID, which will be an int. You want to make sure that this is your primary key and also auto increment. Alright, and then we're going to have the post ID. Okay, it has to know which post the comment's for. And then we're going to do the name, the username, and email, body. Okay, this will be a varchar, this too, and then this will be text. And varchars need the length. I'm just going to put 255. And I want to add one more, so I'm going to go to right here and click go. And this is going to be the create, or let's say created at, and this is going to be a timestamp, and then for the default we're going to choose current timestamp. Alright, so let's save that. Now we have a comments table. Alright, so when this form is submitted, it's going to go to the comments controller, a method called create, and the ID is going to get passed in as a parameter. So let's go do that. So this is the controller, and we're going to say PHP class comments, and that's going to extend CI underscore controller. Okay, and then we're going to put our create function, so public function create, and remember that's going to take a post ID, All right, so what I want to do is get the slug, and remember we sent that as a hidden field, and I'm just going to put that in its own variable. So we can get all the fields that we submit using this input, and then we want post and slug. Okay, now we also want to get the actual post, because if the validation fails, we need to load that. So let's say data post, and we're going to set that to this post model, and then get posts. Okay, and we're going to pass in the slug. So we're all set for that. Now for the validation, let's say this form validation. Then we want to do set rules, just like we did with the other stuff, the posts. And we want to get the name. Okay, name is going to, and then we want the readable version of name, which is capital N name. And then we want the rule, which is going to be required. All right. So I'm just going to copy this. And let's see, the email will also be required. Email and the body. And let's also validate the email. Make sure it's a valid address. So we just have to change this to valid_email. All right, so there's our rules. Now we want to check to see if it passed. So we'll do an if else, and we're going to test if this form validation run is equal to false. Okay, if it hasn't run or if it's failed, let's change that. Then we want to just reload the view. So let's say this load view, and in here we want to put the header, which is in the folder called templates / header, and we'll just copy that. And we want the footer here. Okay, we're loading the header and the footer, and then the view is going to be posts / view, and then we want to pass along that data like that. Okay, that way we can access the post from inside the view. All right, now in the else, so if everything goes okay and it validates, then we want to call a model function. So this comment underscore model, actually that should be a lowercase c. So this model, and then we're going to have a function called create comment. Okay, and that's going to be passed in the post ID. And then we're simply going to redirect, and we want to redirect to the same post we're on. So we're going to say posts / and then we just want to concatenate the slug, and that'll bring us, or that'll keep us on that page. All right, so let's go ahead and save this. Now our form validation needs an output, and we don't have one yet on the view page. So let's go to views, posts, view.php, and we're going to put this right under the add comment h3. All right, so we just want to put PHP echo form, no, not form, validation underscore errors. Okay, and we'll save that. So now we need to create our model function. So it's going to be public function create comment, and that's going to be passed in the ID, the post ID. So now we want to create an array to submit. Okay, so let's say data equals array, and we want to set in here post ID, which we're going to set to that variable post ID. All right, and then we want the name, Okay, and that's coming from the form, so we can say this input post name. Okay, and I'm just going to copy that, and we're going to do the same for the email and for the body. Okay, this will be body. Good, so now we have our array, and then we need to insert it. So we're going to say return this, oops, this DB insert. And in here we want to pass in the table we want to submit to, which is comments. And then we also want to add the data. And that'll do our insert. So let's save that, and then we can try it out. Let's reload here, and let's add a comment. So first we'll try submitting undefined property comments post model. Wait a minute, what is this? Post model. Okay, so this should be lowercase. Let's try that. There we go. So if I submit, you see we get the name field is required, the body field is required. Let's see what I did wrong here. Name equals name, email. Oh, so this should be body right here. Name equals body. It's still not reading the email though. Huh. Alright, you know what I think it is, guys, is because we have two of these. I think we can actually just pipe this in and say valid email. I think we can do that. And then just get rid of this. Let's try that. So submit. No, that didn't work either. Alright, that's really strange. If you guys, I'm just going to take away the valid email. If you guys know why the hell it's doing that, please let me know. Because if we do this, then it works. It's just not allowing multiple rules for some reason, but whatever. Let's just deal with it. Alright, so let's see. We'll say John Doe and email at Gmail, and body we'll just say, let's say great post, and submit. Okay, so we're not going to see it here yet because we haven't added that functionality, but let's look in the database, comments, and there it is. ID 1, post ID is 2, name, email, body, and the date. Good. So what we want to do now is provide the functionality to show the comments in the post. So let's go to, let's see, we're going to go to our post controller, and we want to be in the view function. That's the single post view, and we want to grab the comments. Now we're going to need the post ID, and we can actually just grab it from this because this is getting a single post. So let's create a variable called post ID, and we can set it to data post, and then we want to be specific, and we want the ID. Okay, and then we can do we can get our comments. So we want to put that in the data array as well, comments, and set that to this comment model. This comment model, and then we're going to have a function called get comments, and that's going to be passed in the post ID. So let's save that, and then let's go to our comment model and create get comments. So get underscore comments. Okay, and that's going to be passed in the ID. And what we want to do here, let's see, we want to, this is going to be pretty simple. We're just going to have a query and set it to this DB get where. Alright, and then it's going to take in the table we want, which is comments, and then it's going to take in the conditions in the form of an array. Alright, so let's say array, and we want to match post ID with the post ID variable that's being passed in. Whoops. Post ID. Okay, and then we just want to, whoop, wait a second, is this right? That ends there. Alright, so now we just want to return. So we're going to return the query, and we want the result underscore array. Alright, so that'll give us an array of comments. So let's save that, and then we're passing the comments into the view because we're adding it to the data array, and data is being passed into post/view. So now let's go to back to the view PHP, and we're going to put the comments above the add comment form. Let's put another HR there, and then we'll put an H3, and we'll say comments. Okay, so what we're going to have to do here is use a for each loop and loop through the comments and display each one. So first of all, let's check for and make sure there are comments. If there's not, then we're just going to say no comments to display. Alright, so PHP if, and it's going to have an else as well, and then end if. Okay, so if comments, then we'll do what we need to. If there's not, then let's just spit out a paragraph, and we'll say no comments to display. Okay, so in here we want to do our for each loop. So let's say PHP for each, and then we'll end it. Okay, and we're going to say for each comment as comment, and then let's put in an H5 right here, and we're going to echo out the body of the comment. So comment body, and then we're going to say actually I'm going to put the name in brackets, and we'll say by, and let's put some strong tags in, and then by PHP echo comment name, and that's it. So let's go ahead and save that, and let's reload this page, and there we go. Great post by John Doe. And I'm going to put I'm going to wrap each one in a well class. Alright, that looks good. So let's try to add another comment. We'll say from Jane Doe. We'll say Jane at yahoo.com, and we'll say thank you for this awesome post. Submit, and there we go. So now we have comment functionality for our blog. Alright, so in the next video, guys, I think we're finally going to get to the login system. Okay, we want users to be able to register and log in and manage posts. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure when that will be. Hopefully it'll be soon if I can find the time. But that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.